Hey friends, and welcome to day 5 of your 7-day Move Your Body challenge. Today's flow is going to be focused on opening up the chest and the heart space, and you are going to need a block for your practice. So if you do not have one of these, they're very cheap on Amazon. Go and get yourself one. It is totally worth having. And if you really do not have one, go and find a book or something about this size that you can make a connection with your hands. And the reason I say make a connection with, we're going to be using this block behind the back. So not a super heavy book if that's what you were going for. Make sure it is going to be a light book if you are going to grab one. And we'll just put it aside for now and kind of start right away with our mantra for practice today. And that mantra is going to be, change is the only constant. So I know for me and for many of us, change can be one of the most difficult things that we come across in life. And yet it's inevitable. We're always running into change. We are always evolving. And so if we can start to familiarize ourselves with change, we make change something that is something we stay curious about. It's something that we open up towards rather than shutting down or shying away from. So we'll chat about that in our journal prompt today, but otherwise we're just going to get started sitting back on the heels. So I am super comfy right here with my bottom on my heels, but if that is not for your knees, if that is not for your ankles or your feet, you can just grab any kind of seat that feels most comfy for you. And we'll start this practice with just a couple of breaths. So you can take your hands to your thighs and then close down your eyes. And take a deep breath in through your nose. Start to fill up the belly and fill up the chest. And then an exhale breath to let that go. We've got 2 more like that, just to land in this space. Take an inhale, breathe in. Exhale to let it go. Last one together, big breath in. And then an exhale breath to let it go. You can blink your eyes open. And then if you have that block, that book, whatever it is you're going to be using. And my friends, if you really don't have one and you're like, can I still do this practice? Yes, you can. You're just going to reach for an imaginary block behind your back. And I'll guide you through it when we get there. But if you do have the block or a prop, just slide it to the side. And then we'll start in a child's pose. So big toes together, knees go wide. And then crawl your fingertips forward to the top of your mat. Rest your forehead down. Right away, just kind of checking in with the upper back, the hips. Letting your breath travel through your body. And starting to notice the spaces in the body where the breath is feeling restricted, sending more of your breath there. You can stay low, just start to crawl your fingertips off the right side of your mat. Left fingertips can chase off towards the right and then pull your left hip back. So you should be feeling space from left pinky all the way to your left hip. Nice and slow, start to crawl your way back to center and then off the left. Right fingertips chase to the left. And really we're thinking from that pinky to the hip bone on the right side. Forehead can stay down on your mat. Fingertips nice and slow, come back to center line and then start to press your way into a tabletop. So right away, the wrists come underneath your shoulders, the knees come underneath your hips, and then we'll tuck the toes behind us to start. Start to crawl your hands back to meet your knees. And we're finding a toe stand here, so If you want more sensation, you can take those pinky toes, pull them out from underneath you, sit back onto your heels. If you get here and this is just far too much, take your peace fingers to the mat. This is going to give you less sensation. We crawl the hands forward. That's seeking less sensation. If you're seeking more sensation, you crawl the fingertips back and maybe even rest your weight into the feet, into the backs of your heels. And we'll just find 3 long breaths here, in through the nose and out of your nose. Taking the arms now, take a breath in, reach your fingertips high. Exhale, hands come through heart. Last one together, big breath in. Exhale, hands through heart. Crawl your hands forward, top of your mat. Keep your hips right where they are. So the hips stay high, your feet press down on the mat. So you untuck the toes, tops of your feet are pressing in. Fingertips crawl forward towards the top and then drop on down to your forearms. Forehead comes towards the mat, doesn't need to reach the mat, just coming towards. Chin tucks into your chest. Good, last breath here. Start to crawl your hands back underneath your shoulders. Cross your heels back behind you, or ankles back behind you. Find your bottom on the mat. And I'm actually going to turn away from you so that you can see really well here what we're doing with the block. But find that block or your prop, and then sit up tall on your mat. We're going to take block into right hand, reach both arms out so you're making a T with the hands. Right hand comes up and overhead. Left hand comes behind you, so internal rotation of the elbow. Bend into your left elbow. Now you bend your right elbow so that the block makes a connection point with your bottom hand. And you might have to kind of play around, right? Notice where you are in space. Notice that connection. Left hand grabs the block and then we just switch it out, bringing the arms back out to a T. And then same thing, left hand overhead, right hand comes behind you. It's internal rotation first. Bending into that elbow comes behind your back. Bending left elbow overhead, and then you reach for that block and just switch it out. And we're gonna take a couple rounds like that. Take an inhale, arms go to a T. Reach your right hand up, left hand comes behind. Trying to find a little fluidity in the movement now. You make the connection, reach the arms back out. Left hand overhead, right hand behind you. Switching out that block. You've got one more round each way. Inhale, right hand overhead, left hand behind you. Catch the block, switch it out, arms come to a T. Left hand overhead, right hand behind you, catch that block. And then we're just gonna hold it here with the connection point. Tuck your lower belly in just a little bit here so you find some length in your spine. And then send some awareness into the front of your chest, specifically left side. Couple of breaths. And then you can go ahead and let that go. Reach your arms, got my hair, back out to a T. And then the block can just find its way to the front of your mat. Rock yourself back over onto your knees. Make your way into a tabletop. This time we're going to take the palms right underneath your shoulders. Turn the fronts of your elbows, or the armpits of your elbows, to the front of your mat. Tuck your tailbone just a little bit and then come on down to your belly. Right ear finds the mat. Send your right hand out long. Bend your left knee. Step your left foot back and behind you. Find a shoulder stretch. If it's feeling too much here on the shoulder, then that foot can just rest inside of your right leg. So left leg, if it can't come way back behind you because you feel pressure in the lower back or in the right shoulder, then just slide it on the inside, right? Just finding your sensation level. Exhale nice and slow, make your way back to center. We're just rolling to the belly. Slide the palms underneath you, forehead finds the mat. Press into the tops of your feet. Inhale, breath to rise up, baby cobra. Exhale, coming right back down, forehead to your mat. You've got 2 more like that. Inhale, press up, find baby cobra, press into your palms. Pull the shoulder blades back. Exhale, forehead to your mat. Last one, staying with your breath. Inhale, press your way up. Exhale, roll it down, left ear to your mat. Left arm out long, bend your right knee, and then step your right foot back. Again, just finding your variation here. So if that right foot needs to slide inside so that the lower back doesn't have so much stretch there, then you can find that. Wherever you land, just letting your head and your neck relax. And then nice and slow, roll it back to center. Find your belly on the mat. Slide your palms back. We're gonna find a Sphinx pose, so forearms find the mat. Press into your palms and then rise up. So now you're on forearms, you're pressing into the pointer finger and the thumb, both hands pressing into the palms. Pull your shoulder blades back and then reach the crown of your head towards the sky. Chin tucks into your chest just a little bit. Press into the tops of your feet and then relax your glutes. Exhale, nice and slow, forehead finds the mat. Slide your palms back, press your way through tabletop. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up high and back, find down dog. First one of your practice, maybe first one of your day, so take a moment here to pedal it out. Bend one knee and then bend the other knee. And if you are someone that cannot get into a down dog or it's not gonna work in your wrist, you can just stay in a tabletop here, send one leg back and then the other leg back and find a couple of rounds of calf stretches there. It's always an option to take tabletop when we cue down dog. So if that's for you, don't let that steer you away from your practice. Inhale, right toes towards the sky, find a 3-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb at the top of your mat. Hug in as you step through. Right foot lands and then slowly lower down your back knee. Now, we're going to take the left toes. You can use your hands to guide you here, so fingertips can stay on your mat. Left toes spin over towards the long edge of your mat or right side of your mat. Find your block. Comes inside of your right foot, and then press right hand into your block, draw your bow and arrow, send your left hand up towards the sky. So now we're coming in a version of side angle here where we're close to the ground. Notice if you're spilling down into that right side, pull yourself up and out, keep pressing into your block. Reaching through left fingertips. Inhale to rise up. Take your block with you. So now you're kind of in this low lunge type position. Right knee stays bent. Right hand reaches up and overhead. Left hand comes back behind you. We're going to catch that block the same way we did while we were in a seat. Inch your way there. Find that connection point. Keep your right elbow bent and then just lean slightly towards the left. Good, now listen here. Bottom hand keeps your block. So left hand stays on the block. Let your top hand go. Now blocks in your left hand, reach your left hand up and all the way overhead. It's gonna plant inside of your right foot. Now fingertips on your mat, left toes rather, turn towards the back of your mat. So now you're back in your low lunge. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee, press left hand into your block, reach your right hand up towards the sky. Find a runner's twist. Buoyancy in the hips, so keep lifting. Back heel lifts, right hand reaching towards the sky. Good. Exhale, right hand finds your mat. Left foot meets your right at the top of your mat, round it down, find a fold. Take a moment here, shake your head no, and then shake your head yes. Inhale, root to rise, both arms up and overhead, palms come together. Exhale, hands to your heart, interlace the hands, press down and then all the way up. Stretch out the hands, take a little back bend. Release that grip and then take it all the way down. Come into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins. Find a long spine. Exhale, plant your palms. Step your right foot back and then left foot back. Press into your palms. Slowly lower down to your belly. Inhale, breath presses you up. Find baby cobra. Exhale, press back through your tabletop. Tuck your toes. Send your hips up high and back. Find your downward facing dog. Take a moment. Find a breath in through the nose. And then an exhale out of your mouth. Inhale, left toes up towards the sky. Three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot, left thumb, top of your mat. Nice and slow, lower down that back knee. Squeeze your inner thighs. You can keep your fingertips on the mat to guide your right toes over to the left. So long edge of your mat. So we're just kind of spinning the hip so that it opens wide, right? Block comes inside of your left foot. Press left hand into that block. Take your right hand, draw your bow and arrow. So we're stacking the shoulders all the way up. Let your gaze follow you to your right fingertips. Keep pressing into that block so we're lifting out of side body. Left hand stays on your block. Inhale to rise up. Arms come out to a T. Left hand reaches up and overhead. Bend your left elbow. Right hand comes behind, catches your block. Now it's a nice big open chest. Find that connection point. Wiggle around till you've got it. And then tiny, tiny tip towards the back here. So we're just stretching the left side body. Maybe taking your gaze towards the sky. Now listen closely. Top hand lets go of the block. So block is in your bottom hand. Your right hand, arms go back out to a T. And then right hand reaches up and overhead, plants inside of your left foot. So tallest setting on the block. Turn your back toes all the way to the back of your mat. So now you're back in your low lunge. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Press your right hand into the block. Reach your left hand towards the sky. Squeezing through the midline. So inner thighs squeeze together. Front foot presses into the ground. Right hand presses into your block. Left hand lifts. Back heel lifts. Last breath here. Left hand comes back down to your mat. You can slide that block to the top. We'll be done with it for practice today. And then just stay low in your low lunge. Crawl your fingertips all the way to the long edge of your mat. So we're pivoting on the heels to get there. Find yourself in a wide-legged fold. You can take your hands to ankles, chaturanga arms, anything that feels right. If you find yourself really compromising here and it's not feeling good in the knees or in the hamstrings, just stay upright a little bit. Heel toe your feet closer together and then bend your knees a lot. So we just kind of like hang here in a semi-low squat. And that's going to be level 1 if you're working there. Always finding just the option that works for you. Takes you right to your edge but not past it. Good, we'll stay low here and find one last little twist. Inhale, halfway lift, come up onto your fingertips. Find a long spine. Right palm plants underneath your nose. Take a breath in and send your left hand towards the sky. Now notice right away that left hip's lifting. Pull your left hip back down to center line. Keep pressing into your right hand. Activation in the feet, the knife edge of the feet pressing into your mat. Use an exhale, nice and slow, we'll just switch it out. Left palm plants down, center of your mat. Breath in, right hand reaches towards the sky. Notice that right hip, it's creeping up there, always does, so pull your right hip back down. If that means you come out of the twist a little bit and the arm's not quite vertical, it's just maybe out to the side, that's totally fine. We'd rather have a twist from the center rather than a compromise of the spine just to reach the right hand high. finding integrity in your practice, the structural alignment that will keep you coming back to your mat. Exhale, right hand comes down. We're pivoting on the heels to the front of the mat. Find a low lunge, top of your mat. Right foot meets your left, tuck your chin to your chest and fold. And this time you can heel toe the feet hips distance, catch opposite elbows, and then start a little sway from side to side. And then bringing your awareness back to that idea of change. And starting to notice throughout your day today, or if it's the end of your day, maybe it's your day tomorrow, or maybe it's the week ahead, but just noticing how you might be different today than how you will be tomorrow or how you were yesterday. And the moment that we can start to gain an appreciation for that, an awareness of that, compassion for that, we can give other people in our lives a little bit more grace too. We are all constantly changing. Exhale, fingertips come down. Turn your toes out, your heels in, drop your bottom all the way down and find Yogi Squat Malasana at the top of your mat. Another great place for a book or a block right underneath your bum. And we're gonna sit here for about 3 breaths. So I will encourage you to find that support. Let your chest come up and through. Press your elbows into your knees and then your knees into your elbows. Find a couple quiet breaths, eyes closed if it's comfortable for you. Good. Eventually sliding that block out from underneath you, top of your mat. And then sending yourself right back onto your bottom. Feet can find the mat. Slide your bottom towards your heels and then slowly lower down 1 vertebra at a time. Doing your best to keep your feet glued down on the mat. Take your arms right away overhead. And you can keep the feet planted for now, maybe getting a release in your low back. Exhale, fingertips find your mat. Again, the bottom likes to scooch away from the heels, so I'm going to invite you to walk your heels back to your bottom. Press your palms into your mat. Shimmy your shoulder blades in underneath you. Tuck your chin to your chest just slightly and then press into your palms. Press into your feet, but lift all 10 toes. Start to press into the balls of the feet to lift your hips up high. Find a bridge pose. Take a moment, gaze down at your belly button and notice the breath moving in and out. Inhale, find your tippy toes, lift your heels up high, and then slowly lower down 1 vertebra at a time. So tailbone finds the ground very, very last. Eventually the sacrum, the bottom lands down. And then knees to your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Rock the knees from right to left. We'll close our practice here on our backs. If you've got time, I'm really going to encourage you to make your way into a Savasana with the legs out long. But if you need to get on with your day, if you need to move on from this practice, then just take yourself into this tight squeeze. And give yourself one last little moment of recognition, like from your hands, give your body love. Taking a moment to whisper a message to yourself. Maybe it's I love you. Maybe it's a thank you. Maybe it's an I'm sorry. Whatever it is that you need to hear from you. Giving yourself that message from a place of love. And then we'll take one last breath together. Take an inhale through your nose. And an exhale out of your mouth. Let that ball go. Thank you so much for showing up today, day 5 of your practice. And we've only got 2 days left, so make sure you head on over to Yoga with April to find your day 6. And we'll see you tomorrow.